Tormented remains. Airidah dwelt atop a fog-shrouded crag called Solitude, and she guarded her domain with the tormented remains of the dead. The grimacing, tortured corpses of revered druids had been wrenched upward through the ground, stretched and bound by demonic roots, surrounded by monstrous wildwoods in a perversion of druid nature magic. As the haunted mist that Airidah could summon with her tal harpa, I believe these blasphemies portrayed the inner state of her mind and soul. Her battle with Astaroth must have left her shaken to her core, for she lived in torment, always fearing the return of hell to Skosklin. In times of fear, the weak often turn to whichever tyranny promises to take that fear away. And so it was with Airidah. She accepted the dreadful rule of Lilith in exchange for the false promise of protection. In the end, it was only Airidah's death that freed her from her torment. Nefain's tree and spear. Like Airidah, the druid Nefain succumbed to Lilith's manipulations. To rid his land of the cathedral light, he accepted the help of a shadow and darkness, but Lilith used his hatred and anger for her own ends. Like Airidah, Nefain gave Lilith what she needed to free the demon Astaroth from his soulstone. In reward for his service, Lilith impaled Nefain on a tree, but this violence did not kill him. Her ritual left him alive in agony as he watched his own blood pour out of him to nourish a gestating beast. Nefain finally begged for death to end his suffering, and he found it at the point of his own spear. I believe the tree from which he hung remains standing. If so, it may be scarred forever by Lilith's magic, marked as a demon tree and best avoided. Living things that taste human blood often crave it even after. The shaft of this weapon is made from gnarled and ancient bog oak that was hardened and blackened by many centuries spent buried in peat beneath the moors. Runes carved along its length add to its strength and grant it other magical properties expressly for druidic purposes. Charms of ivory and fragments of carved bone hang from leather cords wrapped around the wood. A ring of wolf teeth surrounds the base of the spear's curved blade, which was forged from strong steel embossed with a wolf's head and further imbued with the runes. What I cannot say is whether this weapon will carry the blessing of Nefain as it was, or the curse of Nefain as he became. This may be the weapon of a legendary hero, or a spear of a traitor. Perhaps it needs a new warrior to wield it. One who will rewrite its legacy. Goatman Horn. The long history of the Khosror has been told in many ways, by many historians and scholars, some whom willfully hid the truth. Many once believed that Sanctuary's goatmen are of demonic origin. This is perhaps an understandable mistake, considering their association with the demon Sagral. Note, however, that Khosror did not come into being through the workings of the Burning Hells. During the Mage Clan Wars that ravaged Sanctuary more than 14 centuries ago, the Vijari clan sought to build an army capable of swarming their rivals. They subjugated a peaceful people known as the Umbaru and reshaped them using the darkest of magic. The Umbaru became the Khosror, half human, half goat, and possessing prodigious strength and ferocity. As is often the case with such creations, these new beasts proved to be more strong-willed and intelligent than their creators anticipated or intended, and the Khosror rebelled against the Vijari. Today, goatmen can be found in most regions of Sanctuary, living examples of the way hubris can lead to undoing and downfall. The Vijari created the Khosror, and had the Khosror hunted that mage clan to the very last sorcerer, they would still have only reaped what they themselves had sown. Let that be a lesson to those who would use dark magic, even in the service of good. Yorin's Maze. Yorin was Donan's son. I did not know him well, but he seemed a capable lad who showed great courage. Without hesitation, he risked his life defending the village of Skosklin, including Breistig, and willingly entered the Weeping Cairns on Airidah's trail. As alluded to in Donan's personal journals, Yoren strained against his father's efforts to keep him safe, believing himself a man ready for more responsibility and challenges. Indeed, Yoren was more prepared than most to confront demonic forces. It wasn't enough. Though Donan tried to send his son away from the battle with Lilith at Eldheim Keep, she slew the knights penitent who were with Yoren and took the boy captive. The finding of Yoren's mace granted Donan a brief, cruel hope for his son's survival. But this proved futile. Lilith had chosen Yoren as the host for Astaroth's essence and drove the soulstone into the boy's body. Donan believed his son strong enough to resist the influence of the demon spirit, and I think it's possible that the youth held out longer than many others could have. No one can resist the evil of a demon forever. By the time Donan caught up with his son at Carragher, the corruption was complete. Though Astaroth was defeated once again, the boy could not be saved. Yoren's mace was a gift from Donan to his son, yet it is not of druid make. Donan wrote in his journals that he acquired it from a merchant who claimed that it had come from the desert tombs outside Lutgulain. Nothing about the mace leads me to doubt this story. In shape, it is a warhammer, forged from a mysterious alloy. The weapon appears quite ancient, and it possesses a lethal grace that allowed even a warrior as young as Yoren to wield it. Unlike a weapon such as Nefain's spear, I do not believe there is any chance of it being cursed, for Yoren kept his honor until the end. Brega's tombstone. I wish I had known Donan's wife better. Brega must have been a very strong woman. I can think of few roads harder than being married to a member of the Horadric Order. Yet, her devotion to Donan was fervent, as was his devotion to her. I too have known love. The bond between them is the reason I felt compelled to bring Donan's body back from hell, so that I could bury him next to her and Yoren. The 3 tombstones are plain, carved from the same grey rock that forms the mountains of this land. This small cemetery sits near Firebreak Manor on Donan's estate, as warm and friendly a spot as can be found in Skosklin. He had no other heirs that I'm aware of, and I wonder who will take up residence in his home. Whoever they may be, I hope that they know and understand that these markers name those who gave their lives so that the rest of us could go on with the business of living. As for Donan, Brega and Yoren, their souls have left this plane. Where they might have gone, no one can say with certain. Deckard Cain believed that after death we go to a place beyond imagining. He wrote that he had no name for it, nor real understanding of where it lies, save beyond the broken bounds of this world. I do not know if I believe that as much as I want to, though I do like to believe that whatever Donan's spirit has traveled, he has reunited with Brega there.